This What's Working with Cam Marston podcast is brought to you courtesy of Michelob Ultra Beer.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Glad to have you along. What's Working is the radio show / podcast designed to explore workplace, workforce, and marketplace trends, trying to find the guests that can talk about the trends in such a way that you and I can learn something about them, learn something from these guests, and utilize what they tell us in some productive way in our own business, our own worlds, with our own teams, with our own families, whatever it may be. Try to get just a little bit better at whatever it is that you do. Again, welcome. Thanks for joining along. Here's a question. How much do you want to know about me? Not the guests that I interview, not this radio show, but me, Cam Marston, the guy that's been doing this now for about 6 years. What do you want to know about me? My suspicion and my first blush at that answer is not much. The show is not intended to be about me. It's not intended to dig deep on who I am, etc. However, I can't help but remember a couple of shows, I think maybe it was 60 Minutes or something, where they interviewed a guy, an NFL sportscaster named Chris Collinsworth. And they went into his home and they wanted to know who Chris Collinsworth was and about his family and how he prepares for each game that he broadcasts. And they went deep on who this guy was. And in fact, I think about a lot of television shows, which I find very interesting, where they go into the background and the life and the day-to-day of some of these popular television people, not about their profession, not about the job, the task that they do, but who they are as an individual. And my first blush when thinking about that for myself is I really have very little to offer. I'm fairly certain those of you that are regular listeners of the show would find my background and my day-to-day grind and what I do when the microphone's not on rather dull. But I got a kind of a lesson taught to me a couple weeks ago when I was up in, I think it was Connecticut at a resort where I was given a presentation, and this guy named Domenick pulled me aside and said, Cam, you're missing opportunity on social media. Now, Domenick's on the financial services world, and he is I wouldn't say prolific, but he is a consistent poster, and his preferred venue is on LinkedIn. He said, Cam, I see what you're doing on LinkedIn, and you're posting a lot of your professional content, and that's good. But I assure you, he said, people are less interested in your professional stuff. They want to know that you know what you're talking about. But I think you'll find more success with your social media if you post stuff about you personally, what you're doing, when the mic's not on, when you're not on stage, when you're not writing the content that you do. They want to know who you are. And I said just what I told you a second ago. Domenick, I don't think anybody would find anything that I do very interesting. They're interested in me is in my professional work. That's why they pay attention, if they pay attention at all. He said, you're wrong, my friend. You're wrong. Once you start posting personal stuff, they'll react. And I said, Domenick, I hear you. This social media world out there is a necessary part of the world that I'm in. I don't particularly like it. I don't think it's, it can be very destructive. I'm not sure how productive it is. And I said, Domenick, the reason I do this type of stuff, of course, is to generate leads, is to pick up business from it. And I can't imagine me folding clothes in my hotel room, packing up to go to the airport and filming this and what I'm doing would be of interest to anyone. And he said, try it. I promise you, Cam, try it. So I did. For a week, I posted a lot of stuff that's more personal, less professional, more personal. And the reaction was undeniable. Now, did my phone ring with leads? No. Are people hiring more because of that? No. Did I get more engagement? I did. And I went back to Domenick and I said, hey, let's get into this on the radio. You might have a point here. I can't imagine that people would want to know more about me. Domenick's going to come on when we come back from this break and talk to me a little bit about social media. He is not a social media expert. He's got a business and he uses social media to enhance it. And I've been on the fence about this. I might become a convert. We'll be right back after this break. You're listening to What's Working.
This is Trey Langus with Transworld Business Advisors. I help business owners sell their businesses from mom and pop size to large mergers and acquisitions. We have a huge buyer database looking for quality businesses to buy right now. Confidentiality guaranteed. If you're a business owner considering an exit within the next few years, let's talk. Again, I'm Trey Langus. Find me at Transworld Business Advisors or Google my name.
We're back. You're listening to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. Again, thank you for being a part of this show, listening in. On the line with me, Domenick D'Andrea. He's calling in from somewhere northeast. We'll find that exact location momentarily. As I told you in the opening segment, he pulled me aside in a conference a couple weeks ago and said, you're missing opportunity. I'm summarizing a longer conversation, but you're missing opportunity, Cam. You're going about this incorrectly. Social media is a gold mine of opportunity if you use it correctly. I'm a little bit skeptical, have been, and he is going to work this episode to bring me around. Domenick, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to What's Working.
Thank you, Cam, for having me on your call, and thank you for taking the time to listen to me that night where I was able to benefit you a little bit, and hopefully I'll benefit your audience a lot today.
Well, I'm expecting you will. You've already shared, prior to us hitting the record button, you've already shared some success you've had, and we'll get into that in a moment. But before we get further, tell my listeners who you are, your background, your profession. You're not a social media, you're not hired in the world of social media. You are a professional that utilizes social media. So let's start there.
Yes, that's correct. I'm a financial advisor. I've been in the industry for 28 plus years. And in the beginning, I was truly skeptical that social media could benefit rewards. You know, I would just post business stuff throughout the years, a few times a month here and there, and leave it at that. And I started listening to a variety of marketers out there in social media world, went on webinars, and started listening to what they were doing. And I said, this can't work. But I tried it. And then I tried other stuff. And from April 1st, which is now almost going to be a year, or give or take a year from now, in the past, I said, I got to try this. I got to go at it full force, give it my time. So I decided that from 8 to 8:30 my time every morning, I would get on social media. I would post something. I would comment on things. I would read to learn and to help myself grow. And it didn't take too long for some success, because as you build your name up, you're found quicker in all different searches. And I got a call from a woman in early May. I couldn't answer right away, but I called her back and she starts talking to me about financial advice and things she needs to do. And my next question that I'll always ask somebody that calls me up out of the blue is, who should I thank for referring you to me?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I Googled financial advisors near me and you were at the top of the list.
So, and you hadn't purchased this Google space, that's correct?
Nope. It's just the algorithm of being present on social media pushes you up the ladder. And the more you're present, the more when you're searched, the more you show up.
Yeah. So you got a piece of business quickly out of the gate. You began this in April. In May, you got a piece of business out of it, or at least a genuine lead out of it. It converted to business.
She's a client.
She's now a client.
Yes.
So it converted to revenue. And I think that's the skeptical part I have, is that does activity on social media convert to revenue, or is it in it? And it feels to me, Domenick, it feels vain. It feels self-serving. It feels, and this is, you didn't hear the opening segment before we got you on the line. It feels like, why would anyone want to know about me? Now, one of the conversations you and I had at that conference, I can't remember the name of that hotel. Where was the name of the hotel? Help me remember this. It was the Foxwoods Conference Center. One of the conversations you and I had was, Cam, the more, put your professional stuff up there, but show the vulnerable side, the personal side. So based on your advice, the very next day, I began doing that, and I got some interaction. Now, I'm not aware of any leads that have come as a result of it. I haven't been doing it very long. Tell me about that. Let's get straight into the content versus what types of content. Go ahead.
Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is you did get stuff I saw because you tagged me in that. So I see people are still commenting and still liking that post.
Yeah.
How many of your posts that were business related do you see traction a month later?
I don't know, but you're leading me in the answer here. The answer is very little.
Right. Personal stuff, people want to get to know you. And you can't always quantify everything by results initially, because I'll go to clients and they'll be like, oh yeah, I told somebody about you because I'm seeing what you're posting. And, there are stalkers out there that are looking at you, and you might get a call in 2 months saying, oh, I want you to come speak at this conference because of what you did. So some of the stuff you can't always quantify, but you're going to see it. And what I see more and more is I keep having people pop up in my feeds that are commenting that I connected with 3, 4, 5 years ago that I forgot I connected with them.
Yeah.
And that's bringing them back into my audience. And then what it's doing is bringing their audience in to it. All right, another great example is I have a personal injury lawyer that I met at a charity event, and he was always busy. We couldn't get together. In December, he said to me, I got to sit down with you. I see how, you're a good person. You do stuff for charities and your philanthropy. And he just saw my post. If I wasn't posting that stuff and just doing it, he would not have potentially kept in contact with me. And now I have him as a COI that he'll refer people that need help with their settlements. He also is trying to get me speaking engagements and networking events that he has with the in law firms, which can also lead to more COIs and more potential business. And again, that's another step from social media. Cam, I know we said this at the recording, but when we talked about this prior, I didn't have this next story, but the Boomer Esiason Foundation has a marketer that was looking to teach financial literacy to their community, the CDF community. And she picked me as three people to interview because of my social media presence. She saw what I was doing. She even said, I see who you are as a human. And that's the key thing. People need to see who we are as a human. Cam, you're a keynote speaker. I've seen you speak twice. I'm going to see you speak again on Monday.
Yep.
I know you know what you're doing, but getting to know you as a person is more enticing to me because now I know more about you, and now I'm more excited to see you speak.
So your argument is the personal is gains the traction.
100%. My personal stuff, I still see stuff that's commented on month, 2 months, 3 months later. As people look at something, I do my picture of my daughter. I teach lessons to my children, and I show the lessons that I teach them in the comments. Like my daughter just danced at her first competition.
Yeah.
And her objective that she told me was she wanted to place, and she wanted to get a special judges award for her first solo ever in competition. And I told her flat out, I said, look, you can't guarantee you're going to get one of those, but you go on the stage acting like you earned it already. And when you leave the stage, make sure you're smiling if you did your best. If you don't get that award and you don't place, other people did better than you that day. But if you gave your all, then you did your best, and you should be proud of that. And that's really how I live my life, both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
My goal is to help every client retire comfortably. There are some people that I'm going to get them there. There's some people that are going to get way ahead. And there's some people, because of financial means, I'm going to put them in a good situation. But we had the conversation that based on their means, I can't get them 100% there. But they're going to try their best. And that's really what I want to convey in these stories, is that every goal is not always attainable. But if you don't try to hit the goal, nothing's attainable.
Yeah. All right. So let me pause this. I think we've got a rich vein of content coming up, but I want to introduce you to my listener. We continue to try to figure out who's listening to the show, and the feedback continues to be somewhat similar. It's going to be a 45-year-old or older. Typically, it's going to be a male. About 75% of the listeners are male. And he is in a position of influence in his business. That could mean he is the owner. He manages a small team. He is third generation of a family business. He has influence. And if it's a female, she also has influence. And they're in their car right now as it's being broadcast. They're taking a walk as they're listening to the podcast version of this show. And they're thinking to themselves, there's nothing that I do that people out there would find of interest. You know, me raking my yard is really, you know, I am, and I'm thinking about myself here. I'm a brown-haired, overweight, thinning-haired white guy, and we are omnipresent all over the place, right? This doesn't have to go far to find us, and we're mostly similar when you do find us. Convince me that and we've been talking about this, but convince me that after our conversation at Foxwoods, I took a video of me packing up to head to California, which was the next stop on the thing. And I thought, I'm going to trust Dom. He says this is the type of stuff people want, so I'm going to do it. And convinced my walker, my driver who's listening right now, that their personal things are significant.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm a 53-year-old. Hair is pretty much gone. You know, thinning is not an example, and definitely overweight. And like I said, I was a skeptic, but once I started doing it, there's something in everybody's life. It could be the dog. You know, back in August, I decided to have some fun with myself. My dog is my chief rollover specialist. Every once in a while, I put articles up that I tag him in. I put his picture in, but he's on my website.
Yeah. Chief rollover specialist, folks. That's a reference to the financial services world. If you don't get it, an IRA rollover. Dom, the music's coming up. We'll come back after this break. We'll pick this up. I want to know why my day-to-day interactions would be of interest to anyone. I'm Cam Marston. You're listening to What's Working. We'll be right back.
You're in business to make money. At United Bank, we're in business to help you manage it. We offer a full line of financial solutions, including business credit cards, business checking, merchant services, and more. We'll work with you to create a bundle of services that fits your business needs. Learn more about how we can help your business grow at unitedbank.com/cam. Member FDIC. Credit card subject to credit approval.
We're back. You're listening to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. Domenick DeAndrea is on the line with me. He's calling in. We're on a Zoom call, actually. This interview will be available on our YouTube page if you want to watch it. Dom, where are you calling in from? I should know this.
Long Island, New York.
Long Island, New York, folks. That is not in Alabama, just so you know. Long Island, New York. He and I had a very impactful conversation at a conference he and I were both attended at the Foxwoods Resort Casino for a financial services company. Dom, if you weren't in the first section or didn't hear our first section, is a financial services guy. And you were telling me, Dom, about your chief rollover specialist. And the question that precipitated that was, what type of personal stuff is appropriate and will help on social media? Because there are skeptics right now driving or taking a walk going, no one wants to know about me.
Well, they might not want to know about you per se. I'll share some stuff about me, and I'm adding more and more as I go along, and I'll go into that in a second. But we were talking about my dog, who's my chief rollover specialist, And every time that I post him doing something, it's in my higher impressions. More people are going to it because people love pets. They love kids. So maybe your kids are growing your grandkids. Do stuff with your grandkids. People want to see that you're a human being. So if you're taking your grandkids to the park to play, take some pictures of your grandkids playing at the park.
Yeah.
You took them out to play. That's going to show somebody why they want to work with you. You know, if I post, okay, the difference between a Roth and a traditional IRA, somebody's going to read it, but that's not going to get them to know me. It's just going to show them that I have a clue what I'm doing because I can talk about the two different IRAs. But when I share my dog, when I share my kids, when I share stuff with my family, it draws a different breed of person. It draws COIs, it draws organizations. Like I said about the Boomer Esiason Foundation, them picking me as one of the people they're contemplating using. If I just posted business stuff, I would not have been picked.
Now, I have some colleagues out there, and I'm watching. Since you and I had this conversation, I've become very attuned to their posts. Some of them are posting extraordinarily detailed workplace content, their profession. And I'll be honest, and though I'm the skeptic, I'm also the believer. I haven't listened to one of them. I can see from the texture, or the texture is the wrong word, but the setting of the video that they're posting, what they're talking about, and this is not of interest to me. I trust that they're expert at what they do, but I don't want to hear another insight into this and that and this and that. I want to relate to you, Dom, a story that actually, like I said, I'm a skeptic, but also a believer at the same time. It's this strange thing. And there was a celebrity, and I don't remember her name, but she began posting pictures of and commenting on the mess in her house. And she has 2, 3, 4 young children. And she just looked at that camera tired with the mess of the house in the background. And usually these celebrity posts are of everything is perfect and their hair and makeup is flawless. But she looked into that camera and said, I'm just beat. I'm just whipped. Mm-hmm. And the gush of support from people. And I heard the women particularly talk about it and say, I can't love her any more than I do now after having seen that moment of truth and vulnerability. Take off on that for me.
You just hit the nail on the head. You know, nobody wants to watch videos. Like I actually just started a new video series that I did at Foxwoods, and I'll be doing it again next week when I'm at Napa. And it's meeting minutes with Domenick. I want clients and potential clients and people that know me to know that I want to learn. So I'm not telling them what I know. I'm telling them today I'm going to learn about this, this, and this to bring back more knowledge to help you out.
Oh, is this that you did some when you were walking down the hallway in Foxwoods?
That's exactly. I will be doing that at every conference that I'm at to show that I'm trying to become better to help my clients out.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, that's a big difference than making a video and showing how great I am at something.
Right.
I'm showing vulnerability. I'm 28 years in the business and I can still learn something. I can still come away with an idea that I can utilize to help my business, which in turn will help my clients and potential clients. All
right. A couple things that I want to get into. Social media is an extraordinarily broad range of things. My experience with you is that you utilize LinkedIn the most. Tell me about that and why. Well,
I do have posts on Twitter. I do have posts on Facebook. But LinkedIn is where you're going to meet the COIs, where you're going to meet the business owners, where you're going to meet the people that more times than not have the assets and have the questions, because that's how people look at it as a business thing, which is why a lot of people have the problem posting personal stuff. But that's what really grabs more traction. That's what brings people to want to get to know you.
It's another counterintuitive thing. You're on the professional site posting personal stuff. And that seems to be the ticket.
Yeah, but personal stuff that have a professional basis, something that's not unprofessional. Like I wouldn't post myself chugging a beer.
Yeah. What's the line? So I am fond of a pretty Friday afternoon, a cigar and a glass of whiskey. And I don't do it, and I do it a lot less lately. What's the line?
No, but that's getting to know you. You could post that. You're allowed to enjoy your life. If you're saying this is my after the week, when I'm relaxing so I can recharge for next week, something to that nature, that's a great post. You're settling down your week. You enjoy your cigar and you enjoy your nice glass of whiskey. And so you're going to be recharged come Monday for your clients.
Right.
So using what you just said, just put the professional twist on the cigar and the glass of whiskey. I've posted pictures like that. I love good bourbons. And, I have posted pictures if I'm having a good bourbon. I've actually posted pictures on some vacations where I'm trying different beers because that's something I enjoy doing.
Yeah, searching for beers. I enjoy that too.
Right. But that's, you're enjoying, you're putting the enjoyment in it. You're not saying I'm going to, for lack of a word, get hammered tonight.
Right.
You're doing it for your enjoyment because that's something that relaxes you. You enjoy doing, and you're sharing a hobby or something you enjoy doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You hear the difference between how it could be personal and not unprofessional?
Yeah. I see what you're saying there. It would seem almost obvious, but if you want to see me vulnerable, I could do something, go over the line. When we talk social media, when we talk web stuff, the word algorithm comes up. I think everybody uses that word to mean anything that they want. My relationship with my wife is in a crisis because the algorithm is off or something like that. My dog left and didn't come back due to the algorithm. We use it for everything. What do you know about this, and how does it matter in what I'm posting in my social media feed, et cetera?
Absolutely. Well, first, it just sounds like you're writing a country music song.
You're right. You're right. I'm in Alabama. You're in Long Island. We live and think in country music lyrics down here.
I get it. You need to, it's called social media. So whatever medium you're using, you need to be social on it.
Yeah.
I laugh when somebody comes up to me and says, well, you say it works, and I post once, twice a month, and that's all I do. And I'm not getting anything from it. You're not going to, because no one knows you exist on social media.
Yeah.
You need to be present. So every day I make sure that I at least comment on 5 other people's posts. And what I mean comment. I don't mean like any symbol, love, celebrate. I'll do that just to give extra attention to the post. But the key is getting a conversation going, saying something to the person that shows you read the article and you're interested, because then they're going to send something back. And the more you can build up a conversation, that's bringing up the algorithm, which I love when I go to conferences now and people go to me, oh, you're killing it. I turn on LinkedIn and you're within the first few names of people I see. That's what you want to work towards.
Yeah. So this is all math going on in the background by the social media provider. In our case, what we're talking about primarily here, LinkedIn. Absolutely. He's active. He's making comments. We are going to promote, is that the correct term, so that others see him more frequently.
Yeah, they push the content to the front.
Yeah. So tell me this, Dom. Tell me about, there are a lot of services, and I get unsolicited emails and LinkedIn requests probably daily of people that want to manage my social media. Let us take this over for you. Do you have opinions? Because there are, like I said, I introduced you to my listener. There are people out there that may be thinking, okay, this could help the business. I don't want to have to do it. I don't have someone on the team that wants to do it. What is your opinion on these third-party social media administrators, for lack of a better term?
I have yet to find one that wasn't a ridiculously overcost or overpriced situation, number one. Number two, your personal stuff, how they're going to post that stuff.
Yeah.
You have to take the time to give them pictures and tell them a story. If you're going to take the time to give them pictures and tell them a story, just
do it yourself.
Pick a time in the day, and you don't have to do it 5, 6, 7 days a week like I do at the beginning. At the conference in Foxwoods, when Newisfield came up to me and said, how do you do what you do? And the biggest thing I tell them is, I wasn't me when I started. I'm me now. You don't try to be me now.
Yeah.
Be me when I started. Build it up. Find a time during the day that you're having a cup of coffee, you're relaxing, it's before you get to work or it's your break time. I do a half hour, try 15 minutes and build up from there.
Yeah.
And once you get it going, it's going to be easy. That the fact is, like, if I don't get something posted or do something in the time I wanted to do it. I'll find some time during the day, because now I almost feel like I'm disappointing myself social media wise by not being somewhat active each day.
Domenick D'Andrea is on the line with me. He's in Long Island, New York. We're talking about his success in social media. He is not a social media consultant. He's a financial advisor who's using this to his benefit. You're listening to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. We'll be right back.
This is Trey Langus with Transworld Business Advisors. You've worked for years to grow and build your business, and now you're considering an exit strategy. Selling your business can be intimidating and complex. Let our local team at Transworld Business Advisors help you. We are the largest business brokerage in the world, and I will personally and confidentially guide you through this process. I'm Trey Langus. Find me at Transworld Business Advisors or Google my name.
Customer service never goes out of style. In fact, I think it's safe to say that customer service is more valuable and more important now more than ever. Hi, this is Cam Marston. One thing that my over 200 episodes of What's Working has taught me is how important customer service is to building and maintaining a thriving business. It's the growing need for customer service that's led me to partner with one of the state's leading customer service trainers to create our program called Delivering 5-Star Customer Service. Your team will get one 90-minute training session per month for 6 consecutive months. Each session builds on the skills learned the previous month, allowing your customer-facing teams to practice before moving on to the next lesson. And the 6 lessons address everything from appearance to electronic communications to conflict resolution to maintaining a service mindset. Our program travels and is delivered in person at your workplace, nothing virtual. You simply can't practice the level of the skills this course teaches virtually. For more information, email me, cam@cammarston.com, and let's schedule a time to talk. Remember, you have less to fear from outside competition than you do from discourtesy and bad service from inside your own company. Again, email me, cam@cammarston.com, and let's talk about your business. We're back. You're listening to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. Again, thank you for being a part of this show, listening in. Domenick D'Andrea is on the line with me from Long Island, New York. He and I are talking social media. He is not, and I've said this before, a social media consultant. People don't hire him to manage their social media. He is a financial advisor who has taken to social media, and his preferred venue is LinkedIn, and it has yielded sales for him. And that's what's my initial skepticism in this whole idea was, does activity on social media generate sales, or is it just hubris? Is it people should want to know about me? And I've experimented with it, and I believe what Dom is saying. And prior to the break, Dom, you and I want to get into something new, and that is you and me, to a sense, are selling ourselves. You're selling your trustworthiness as a financial advisor. You're selling your expertise as a financial advisor. You dig into the weeds about people's financial situation and you expose their vulnerabilities, and they have to be vulnerable to you. And in the process, through social media, you're letting people know you are a person they would feel comfortable being vulnerable with. But there's a listener right now somewhere who sells boats, commercial boats. They sell, I'm trying to think of past guests. They're professors at colleges. They are real estate companies. Actually, that's more similar to you and me than others. But anyway, they may get 2 sales a year, where you and I are looking for 50 sales a year. Talk to me from the point of view of somebody who's like a giant corporation, why they should do this, because they're not selling the same type of stuff.
Right. But you being a human is you being a human. Like, everything I'm doing, I could teach to any organization out there that uses social media, because everything, the relationship, if, that corporation, I'm looking for a job and I see the CEO does this and this and this is his enjoyment, and he is a decent human being, not just that guy sitting in the corner office that nobody ever is not approachable. That might be the difference of me going to that business with my resume, and I could be a great asset to them, where another company did that and I go to them instead because they were a personable, welcoming organization on social media, because everybody, whether they're interviewing you for a sale or interviewing you for a job, is going to check your social media out.
Yeah.
They want to see what they want to learn about you. They want to know what makes you tick. And if you come across as a stone cold human being, that could be a deterrent. No, but that could be
the most brilliant person in the world, but no personality.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. And so it's important to everybody. It's your digital, like when you went to an interview with a resume, many years ago with a piece of paper, you put stuff on there, you put interests on there, you put things on there that they got to know you a little bit, and then they asked you questions. Well, now you're getting to find out the questions of the person that you might want to know about them before you get to meet them.
Yeah. Interesting. So your personality is being deduced, if that's the right word, before you walk into that office for the interview, and social media is the one that's doing that. And you have a chance to shape that. I hadn't considered posting on social media from the point of view of recruiting, of, hey, if I look like an amiable fella, people are, and we're looking for people, they're more likely to apply here because of the profile that I've built or the personality that I've displayed on social media. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a recruiting tool as well, which I hadn't considered. So we talked about recruiting here just now, but let's just say I'm a manager in a big Fortune 500 company, and I'm not looking to change jobs, and we're not hiring. What's the benefit for me there?
Well, you're not looking to change jobs, but there's somebody out there that might be looking for you.
Yeah.
And even though you're not looking regularly, if I called you up and said, I loved everything I saw, I think you'd be a great match for our company, and I offer you a huge raise, does that potentially change your mindset?
Yeah, suddenly, yeah. And do you like social media?
I love it.
You love it. It's helpful. It's
very helpful.
It's good.
As long as you use it to the right benefits, like I said, you can't make it a full-time job, which is why I try to limit my time, my dedicated time to 8 to 8:30 every day. Like if I'm sitting somewhere waiting for an appointment, I might pop on and do something, but I made it an enjoyment and I made it a part of my daily regimen that it doesn't affect me going to see clients, making money, doing anything of the sort, but it brings people in, it brings benefit. Look, if I wasn't doing social media and I didn't have the experience and the knowledge that I was able to explain, me and you would not be talking today.
Well, that's a point. That's a point. Your
social
media, your prolific social media and effective social media has put you on the radio in the great state of Alabama, and the podcasts, which broadcast all over the universe.
Yes.
Yes. So for that point, I guess, I'm not going to suggest that this radio interview is the highlight of your career, but it is.
Look, every time you can get out there publicly and show your personality and show how you can answer questions honestly, that can't hurt.
What is a stalker? So you've used the term stalker. I feel like when you and I were talking at Foxwoods, you used the term stalker. When I hear stalker, it's usually with a negative connotation. Define stalker.
No, it's definitely not a negative connotation in this case. Every one of us, if you post regularly, you're going to get people that like, people that comment, and a bunch of impressions. The impressions are usually of the stalkers. They're the people that aren't going to make comments that day on what you posted or like what you posted. But what you're hoping is that your content is intriguing enough that every time they come back to look, eventually they convert to a like, convert to a comment, and then hopefully convert to a connection that you can turn into a relationship. So you want stalkers. You want as many as you can get, because the more you get, the more that means you're out there. And it means the more people are seeing it, because if they're going there, it's going to draw people from their group.
What is the ratio between personal and professional? What is your advice there?
I will post on average, depending on the month, but I would say at least once a month with something native or personal. Sorry, not once a week. Something that's native or personal. And sometimes it's just organic. I'll give you one real quick funny story. I was at a conference in Florida back in the fall, and I was walking to dinner with a wholesaler and her team, and there was a dog running around, and he had one of these medic bags around his neck.
A dog?
Yeah, dog. The owner was within distance.
Oh, okay.
So I asked the owner if I could take a picture with him. So I took a picture with the dog, and the post that night was, "Meet my new friend Fender, who will help rescue you from inflation."
Ah.
And that got a whole bunch of stuff. And so sometimes it's just being alert of your environment and saying, wow, that's a scenario that would be great. That's something that I could work into it. And the more I do it, the more creative I become. Like the videos we talked about earlier. I just started those videos back in Foxwoods.
Yeah.
They were a hit. I'm going to continue doing it. People have said to me, I love the personality of you walking to the elevator and pressing the button as you go into the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that's got to be something I do all the time now. I didn't know I created that until I created it. But I've got enough comments that's going to be my method now.
Do people miss you when you stop? If you were to stop posting with regularity, do you feel like people would reach out and say, hey, Dom, where you been? You okay?
I definitely think there's a group of people that know I comment regularly that if they didn't see me for a couple of weeks, they would be worried.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you and I are going to be together on Monday at the National Association of Plan Administrators, the NAPA conference, where I'll do the 2,500 people is what I'm told.
2,400 and change. I just saw the number because I was doing the app last night. So it was 2,438, I believe is the exact number.
And so I'll be the keynoter Monday morning. That's my plan anyway. I'm going to show up somewhere and start talking. Hopefully there'll be 2,300 people in front of me. That means I've been to the right place at the San Diego Convention Center.
No, you'll get that. You're the first speaker. That's usually the best sessions. Because it's my third time attending it in person.
Yeah.
As it gets later, the later in the week sessions, the last sessions are usually the light ones.
Yeah. Well,
you should have a pretty good crowd.
No pressure. Thank you for that. So I want you to look at consult with me. That Monday morning, I'll get up at dawn 30 to start preparing again. And what is what are the videos? What are the posts? I don't usually have audiences of shy of 2,400 people. How do I make this? And I'm saying this so that the listeners can say, all right, I'm going to go to his LinkedIn page and see how he utilized this based on Domenick's advice to put something out there. What are your thoughts?
You can do exactly what I'm doing, but for yourself. As you're going to the call, I would just say, look, today I'm talking to Napa. Follow me so you can see where I'm going to be. You might want to see me speak at a conference, so you can look at the different conferences for the speakers. But I'm going to go talk about generational planning.
Yep.
I would just do that. Do your version of what I'm doing for meeting minutes, but what Cam's going to do.
Right. Starting with the hotel room that morning?
Yeah. So I literally walk out of the hotel room with my selfie stick and my button that I can press to record. And I start walking down the aisle, the hallway to the elevator. And I say what I'm going to do. And you have the event.
Real quick, Dom, how can people find you?
Well, you can look for me on LinkedIn. That would be a great way to do it. It's my name is Domenick, Domenick, D'Andrea, D''Andrea. So, and then I have 3 designations, AIF, CRC, and CPFA. So if you just type that into LinkedIn, you should be able to find me relatively easy.
Check him out, folks. He's taught us something. Let's all agree to give this a try. Domenick, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
You're listening to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. We'll be right back.
You're in business to make money. At United Bank, we're in business to help you manage it. We offer a full line of financial solutions, including business credit cards, business checking, merchant services, and more. We'll work with you to create a bundle of services that fits your business needs. Learn more about how we can help your business grow at unitedbank.com/CAM. Member FDIC. Credit card subject to credit approval.
You and I have been taught this. We're not supposed to talk about ourselves. We're not supposed to want the attention. We're not supposed to seek this type of thing. Yet what Domenick was telling us and what has proven to be successful for him is talking about himself, seeking that attention a little bit, mostly in the terms of just relaying what he's up to and his business expertise to his customer. But it still feels a little, I don't know, feels like I'm wearing another man's shoes. And I don't know why that expression fits what I'm talking about so perfectly, but you can wear them, but it just doesn't feel right. Me getting on social media talking about myself doesn't exactly feel right, though I know many of you who may follow me see that I do that from time to time, particularly recently with some of the stuff that's been going on around here. But it still feels a little wrong to me. However, the outcomes are undeniable. And I guess that's what I got to work with, is the getting used to seeking the outcomes by being a little bit more vulnerable. And that word vulnerability, man, keeps coming up in what makes people successful. Relationships are built on vulnerability. Business relationships are often started based on quality product or quality delivery, etc. But they continue and they grow based on vulnerability, and not something that I have a great history at doing. But if you want to find me on LinkedIn, you can watch this experiment firsthand, and I'll let you know as we go along whether it's working or not. Domenick D'Andrea. Find him on LinkedIn, follow him, use his posts as a model. Again, the question that we began the show with was, is this type of exposure on social media going to lead to new business? Is it going to generate revenue? And I've been told for years that it was, but I thought, that's what kids do. That's not what grown-ups do. That's what my children do, not what adults do. And once again, proven wrong. Let's give it a try. At least I am. Find me on LinkedIn, easy enough, and you can see what I'm going to try and whether it's going to work, and I'll keep you posted through this show. Now's a great time to mention what we got upcoming, and a number of interviews hitting the calendar, moving, etc. One of which is the chairwoman of the Porch Creek Band of Indians upcoming, and she and I have a date scheduled to be in the studio together to learn a little bit about their story, their unique business approaches. I didn't know they had 40 different businesses in Alabama, 40. Excited to get her on. And I want to draw your attention back to the book, What Works. You can find it on my website, and essentially you're going to find a link that's going to point you to Amazon.com. It's the 10 best ideas from the first 200 episodes. And one of these goals that I have on my calendar is to do an audio recording and to read it. In fact, I wondered who I would hire to do the audio recording till I smacked myself in the face and I said that. Who are you kidding, Cam? It's your show. You should read the dang book. But it's slowly coming about. It's hard to put that on the calendar. I just don't feel like it's the most important thing, but it's coming out, and I'll let you know and make some free audio chapters available to you. So you can find What Works, the book, on my website. Order it from Amazon. The best 10 ideas from the first 200 episodes. We'll wrap it up. John Thompson with Eye on Digital is the show's producer. Have a good week, everybody.